G'day, welcome back to Griffetts Garden. It's a very different day today than the last episode. It's cold and it's windy, but thankfully these are quite well sheltered. So last episode I ran out of time to show you what the maintenance period looks like for stick tomatoes. Today we're just going to jump into that and sort of complete the circle on what happens in these guys versus the trellising of the bush tomatoes. So let's jump into that and I'll catch up with you at the end. Now, we're in the stick tomatoes, just across the way, and you can see some in my ears. So I'll just get rid of this guy behind me. Just in shot. These things are above the sticks. So what I'm going to do is tie them off. Oh, you can't quite see, can you? Just a quick look at this one here. I've just tied that off, and of course it's a question now of whether you want it to grow taller or not. If we can just put you down there, if you can still see. Yep. Do you want this to grow taller or not? Well, these tomatoes are not very big anyway, right? So are they going to amount to much? You want to stop your nutrients going into growth of your plant, put it into the fruit. So when it gets this tall, with this sad excuse for tomatoes, to be honest, these are grape tomatoes, cherry tomato type things. Right, brutal, but snap it off. That's it, get rid of it. I've already done it to the other one, and you can see here I've done it to a few along here. Chopping the top or snapping the top off of your tomatoes is not going to hurt them whatsoever. It's going to stop it from growing, and it's going to concentrate the energy that it has into the fruit, which is what you want. Now, when you do that, and we're probably jumping a little bit ahead, but you can see down here, maybe through all of this, you'll see when you're pruning, you can come along. And I've already talked about snapping leaves off the bottom that you don't need. Don't need these, don't need these. Probably don't even need that guy. You know what, for this purpose, let's take it off. Because what can we see back here? See this thing? What is that? That's one of those shoots that needs to be pruned out. So when, oh, there's another one. When you're doing your pruning, at any time of your tomatoes, always go up and down the plant, because you'll find things that need to be taken off. Now let me take you across to the row behind me here, and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, now we're back on the other side. As you can see, this is a different variety. These are the San Mazzanos here that you saw earlier. So what I'm going to do is, these guys are pretty close to the top, but they have pretty good fruit. So I'm going to let these keep growing until, I guess it's a judgment call, it's very subjective, until we think that, you know, the plant is taking more energy than it should from the fruit. So I don't want to sacrifice the fruit for plant growth. Having said that, we need to prune it, and there's a video all about pruning. So how I go about that is something you can check out on that video, but taking these bits out. But on the back here, you can see this thing is split into two, and it's a question about which one's actually better, because it's not a traditional sort of a branch out of a leaf. But you know what? You've got to be ruthless with your tomatoes. Get rid of it. It's got flowers on it, all the rest of it, but you know what? It's sucking the life out of the rest. Get rid of it. Tie this up. How you tie it really depends on where it is. This one's around a couple of parent sticks, so you know, just loosely around there is going to do the job. Now that's the top of the plant, if I can get that in there. Right, now let's, as I mentioned here, let's go and have a look whilst we're doing this plant at the rest of it. Right, so let's work our way down, not the stick, but the plant behind it. And you can see that this plant is pretty good. We get down towards the bottom and we've got a few leaves that we can snap off. Again, I've mentioned this sort of thing, so get rid of a few leaves. Even this guy here. But what we want to do is have a look at this. Now this is another little shoot coming out from what would normally be pruned out. And I'm sure we will find bigger ones, but you just need to pull that out, and that stops that growth again from stealing from what you actually want is the fruit. So that leaf can actually go as well. Tidy this area up a little bit, and we actually have a crossover of fruit here from the truss on the next plant resting on this one. So I'm going to leave that how it is, but what we don't want is these little shoots. As we work over, these are actually quite good. Just more snapping of leaves, you can get better visibility, better airflow, etc. But what you don't want to do, see how the sun is shining on these ones? These are west facing. You don't really want to take too much leaf matter off of here and introduce sunburn as a consequence. The eastern side, which is what this side is, you can see it's pretty much always in shade. So you can definitely strip those back. There's no harm in doing that. So again, let's have a look down here, because these are a different variety. These are the Blue Mountains. First of all, this one is not helping anybody, so get rid of that. It's not helping shade them. And hiding behind here, if I can get you in shot here, is another little shoot. Get rid of that. As we go up, you can see another one in here. Get rid of that. And his mate. And then that's ready to tie off to the stick. Now, one other thing you'll find, typically with the older varieties, and that's only because it hasn't really been bred out of them, and you know what, along with flavour, it stays in these ones, is on the end of your truss of tomatoes, I'm about to get a bit of advice and probably corrected from the boss there, is here. Can you see this? On the end of the truss that comes along here, they often, very often, produce a shoot with some flowers that, you know, they pretend they want to make some tomatoes. Well, you don't want that. Again, get rid of it. Why? You want that energy going into these, not that. And it's as simple as that. And again, just have a look on this one. There's the truss and all the tomatoes. This one's wrapped around the stick a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But look what's happening here. These are pretend tomatoes, not really going to amount to anything. And there's a shoot that wants to, you know, carry on doing its business. Well, sorry, gone. Sounds brutal. But you know what? If you want to grow juicy tomatoes, at least the way I do it, and probably not just me, then you take care of those types of things. Here's another funny shoot, right? So there's a whole load of pruning that you do when you're doing your main pruning. You just have a quick scan down the plant to see if there's any funny caper like that happening. There's a piece to come out. Good, 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 good. No problem. Leave that leaf there. Shade. So that's what's happening in Griffetts' garden. And look at these. And this is why that leaf is good to keep there. See the sun on them? Keep as much of this leaf material over it, and that way you can try to prevent some sunburn. And it's only a certain time and amount of the day that it will have the opportunity to burn them, but why would you want to lose these guys? They're quite nice. And these guys. Look at these guys hiding in there. Beautiful tomatoes. So, again, that guy's not shading anything, so it can go. So I'm going to finish off pruning this row, tying them up, and you can see all the leaf material on the ground and what's been pulled off. But this is the maintenance phase of your tomatoes between sticks, first lot of pruning, and really waiting for the fruit to ripen and looking after your tomatoes. But you too can grow big juicy tomatoes, like I do at least, try, in Australia. So I'm going to crack on and finish this and catch up with you in a little bit. And there you have it, complete with green fingers. So if anyone asks you if you have a green thumb or not, just prune some tomatoes. And the answer will be yes. All right, so I think we're done for today. We've got them all pruned and tied, and this one of course was one that never went in. And actually that's probably one that I should take the top off, but that's the main stem of the yellow one. So yeah, it's going to have to go, but I'll do that perhaps next week, I think. Just see how those fruit form, because they seem to be a little bigger than the billions of little ones along here. And you can see here, we're starting to get them to ripen. Not we're starting to get them to ripen, but they are starting to ripen. So we planted these, if you go back to one of the earlier episodes, maybe 3 or 4. These went in around the 15th of November. So pretty much 2 months. And that's how long it takes to get this amount of growth. You can see that there's some well-formed fruit. These are really nice. It depends on your variety, of course. And over here we have the gazillions of cherry/grape tomatoes. And we have a lot of passata paste style tomatoes over there. So you choose what you want to grow in your garden, but the principle is the same. It's either a stick or a bush tomato. You have good soil, regular, frequent, same thing, good quantities of water without drowning them and without droughting them, and somewhere where they get plenty of sunshine. And if you haven't noticed today, it's very overcast and probably going to rain tonight. Surprise. Then you too can grow nice juicy tomatoes in your backyard, just like this. So there you have it. And that's about it from Griffetts Garden for today. I hope you enjoyed that catch up on stick tomato maintenance, and we'll catch you in the next one.